Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today is another day of, well, benchmarking things. I don't know what you expected. So, as you can see, I've got my hands on GeForce GTX 1060, and this is a STRIX edition, and it also has 6 GB of video memory. Now, the first question is, how and why would you benchmark a 1060? Now, for the question of how, well, why, basically. Actually, both of those questions are pretty valid. I don't know which one should be first. I got this card for a little tiny limited amount of time from my friend, so yeah. And it's actually pretty good. The reason is I actually wanted to buy this card for myself a while back, and that is roughly around when 970 came out. So we all know the 970 had the 3.5 gigabyte video memory issue or controversy, and it all kind of ruled out, and obviously the 10 series were coming out, and this was the cheapest option, and it also had 6 gigabytes of video memory, apart from the version where 1060s were offered with 3. Now, when it comes to the card itself, I do have to say it looks very nice. 3 coolers, and pretty nice backplate, and my friend actually didn't manage to peel off the thing, and he's been using this for years. Those poor components. Anyway, so, and for the second question, why I would want to do this? No, wait, that was the fun. You know what? It's easier for me to just show you guys. So when I say it's easier to show you guys, this is what I meant. So obviously, well, userbenchmark.com is one of the main places to go, but to be fair, they kind of have very good comparisons in terms of user base and stuff. I'm not saying this is the perfect comparison site by any means, but you know, it's the one that kind of easily puts them side by side. So if we take a look at the GTX 970 and our 1060, you can see that there's marginal increase in, well, performance, like around 12%. I would say this is very generous. I would kind of give or take 10%, but you know, you kind of need to sell the GPU, right? And the main takeaway for this card was literally more memory, because, well, the 970 didn't really have it. Now, obviously, we are skipping over 980 and 980 Ti. However, the 980 Ti is not really a match for 1060 at any way. And by no match, I mean it's kind of blows it completely out of the water, to be completely honest with you. So let's just take a look at this. So as you can see, not only it's much more pricier, so for your budget gamer, this would be a bit more better choice. And performance-wise, yeah, I mean, you can't compare the top tier flagship card, even as being a 9 series, to compare with a budget card like a 1060 is. However, when I was doing my research, I stumbled upon this amazing website, where someone, apparently the Game Debate, were kind of going a lot in regards to 1060, and they gave us a little bit of insight how this 1060 card is actually giving us results on full HD. And that got me thinking. There's quite a decent games in here, so Flight Simulator, Cyberpunk, Control, Exodus, Borderlands 3, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Odyssey, Zero Dawn, and the list goes on, obviously. And then we are getting into the 60 frame bracket for the games that, surprise surprise, is actually optimized. Now, I did one sneaky thing. I created, so to say, I don't know, a cheat sheet. So these are the games we're gonna take a look at, because I think this card should easily beat these scores. And I'm kind of wanna, I'm not saying Game Debate got it wrong, but for Ghost Recon Wildlands, having 41 frames on Full HD with a 1060 when preferred graphics card for Wildlands is 970 at the day of launch? The same goes for Horizon Zero Dawn. It doesn't, well, it kind of favors more RAM, and this is what I actually was looking forward to. Horizon Zero Dawn system requirements, we can literally see that recommended requirements is 1060, 6 gigabytes. So we're gonna put this theory to the test. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Well, it's a Ubisoft title, so to be fair, I'm not expecting much. However, recommended is 970 with 4 gigabytes or more, and 1060 is faster than 970. Moving on to, well, Ghost Recon Wildlands, the recommended again is 970 and 1060 with 4 gigabytes or more. So, absolutely perfect candidate for testing. And Metro Exodus, again, I played this game with my 980 4 gigabyte version, and it did felt I'm hitting the ceiling of the video memory. And yeah, if we actually look at the recommended requirements, it wants 1070. 1070 is not exactly that much faster than 1060. Well, it kind of still technically is, but 1060 is pretty much right behind it. So I think it will be very good for us to just do this. Now, looking at my list here, I also included Control because it had one of the lowest frame scores ever, and Cyberpunk. Now, Cyberpunk, 25.1 frames, to be honest. To get 60 frames on Cyberpunk, you either need Jesus or a 2080 Ti or, well, I don't know, a miracle. So yeah, what we're gonna take a look today is these 5 titles, and those who has benchmarks. For instance, Horizon Zero Dawn has a built-in benchmarking tool, we're gonna watch that. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a built-in benchmarking tool, we're gonna launch that and probably do a little free roam as well. Wildlands has a built-in benchmarking tool and we're gonna roam around as well. Metro Exodus has no benchmarking tool. Well, technically it does, but it's a pain to get to it. I kinda need to go into folders I don't usually go. And Control has no benchmark, but we can roam around anyway. And Cyberpunk, well, launching the game, it's benchmarked by itself. So obviously we're gonna run MSI Afterburner, sorry, on basically foreground, so we can see how much video memory we are taking, how much the GPU utilization is, the actual frame rate, and see where we end up. So I think that's all there is. All the games are installed on SSD to eliminate any kind of lag, and if we're losing 1 or 2 frames due to the recording and benchmarking at the same time, which probably will happen, well, let's see if we are anywhere near or above or below these figures here. So these are basically the scores to beat. So let's go for it, and let's start with here. Well, Zero Dawn Horizon. Nailed it. So here we are with Horizon Zero Dawn. So this is basically latest up-to-date version that is available on Steam. So all the updates, all the patches has gone through, including the 1. Whatever patch that fixed a lot of performance issues. And since we are, well, chasing down the magical numbers, which I kind of need to pull up, so we are looking for 45 frames or better. So since the test is going to be on full HD, we're at 1080p, and as you can see, even on this, well, screen, we are already pulling 5 gigs of memory. So the game predicts that we're going to use 4.3 gigs of video memory out of available 6. We're already pulling 5. Of course, this is just caching information, but anyway. So what we have is we're going to set ultimate quality, and, well, you know, let's just run the dice. Roll. Just do something with dice, but not the Battlefield one. So here we go. And we are off to not really that promising start, but however we are kind of 50-ish frames. We started on very low 40s. So far it actually looks pretty good. And we're using 5.1 gigabyte of video memory and 9.6 of actual RAM and 99% usage. I must say this is not bad at all. So to be honest, I think we're gonna buzz this score from 45. Let's make a bet. I'm telling we're gonna get 48. I'm gonna be generous. I have faith in this GPU that we're gonna pull out at least 48 frames, full HD, ultra settings. So let's just wait for it, I guess. So yeah, this benchmark usually takes around 2 to 3 minutes. So, well, I'm gonna speak again once it's finished, so we'll see how good or how bad the result actually is. And the moment of truth is right here, and we are at 48. Absolute win. So the game debate have gotten the frames of 45 and this is 48. Absolutely everything cranked out. Now, it does beg the question because see, when you do synthetic benchmarks time after time after time, technically the score should improve rather than, you know, decrease. This is the first benchmark, like literally the first run, and I do believe if I did another one we might even get like 49 frames, but that's cheating. So overall, if we look at the table here which been given us, so the maximum frames we achieved was 99 frames and the minimum was 32. I do believe this is the beginning and the end of this sequence, and overall I must say ultra quality and very high quality, or even if you play this game on original settings which is basically medium, I would say you would have no issues with this card because we were using about 5 gigs of video memory, so you have at least 1 gig free for the textures and everything, so there's no hot swap between your RAM and the GPU. So obviously this is pretty good score, I must say, and also it is kind of, you know, more than the game debate gave. So let's move on, and the next stop is gonna be Ghost Recon Wildlands. So here we are, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and to be fair, I'm kinda positive about this game, so let's just check the settings real quick. So we're on full HD, vertical sync is off, frame rate limit is off as well. We are using 4.5 gigs out of 6 at the moment, so to be honest that's kinda expected. Now this game is a bit hungry when it comes for the GPU, but to be honest Wildlands has always been CPU bound game rather than the GPU bound game, which is very weird because for all these open spaces and all these things I would kinda expect to be GPU bound, but Ubisoft kinda favors CPU performance over GPU, and this is very weird, but hey. So we are running on ultra preset, so everything we can is cranked out, and I do believe if we gonna not get 41 frames in a benchmark, I'm gonna blame it on anisotropic filtering, because this takes a huge chunk of things off from your benchmark scores. Also the shadow quality as well, because shadows is useless, but the game debate tested this game on, well, they say on ultra presets or whatever, so we are just gonna do this. So yeah, so time for benchmark, and let's hope for the best or the truth, you know, whichever comes first actually. So we have score of 41 frames to beat, and I have faith in this GPU, and in this game, because probably they tested the game when the Wildlands just launched and it was a mess. Okay, I think we might have an issue because we are actually sub 40. Right, anyway. So, looking at the, well, MSI, it kind of gives us 42, 43. And we're using 4.7 gigs of video memory. Now, this benchmark is a bit weird, so we're gonna, after we finish this benchmark, which is gonna be pretty much every second now, we will just go and take a look how the game actually runs and looks. And the moment of truth. Oh well, so I'm a bit disappointed, but it is what it is. It's 38.8 frames, judging by the benchmark. Of course, I'm not gonna rerun it because that's cheating. So what we're gonna do is just gonna continue it on the same settings, and let's see how it goes. And to be completely fair, I do believe this would have gone this way either way. So this game is weird, and all the Ubisoft titles are. However, we still have Odyssey to beat, and Odyssey should be a bit better optimized, I hope. I don't know. I'm losing faith in Ubisoft titles. So let's load back in. And we're having 36 frames. Okay, let's cheat a little bit. Okay, we are literally 54 frames, 55, 56 while we are looking at the ground. I guess that's not really the way this game is meant to be played. And we are kind of getting about 30 frames, everything cranked. We're using 5.4 gigs of video memory, so we are kind of almost hitting the limit here. So yeah. Maybe ultra settings in Wildlands is not exactly what you should be doing with 1060, however, yeah, we are kind of getting 30, 35-ish, and this is pretty much where nothing is happening, so I think instead of the benchmark score 38, which is technically the benchmark score, we need to take into account the real score, and the real score would be, I would say, is 30, because if we throw in some explosions, I do believe we will have an issue, so let's test it out here. 33 frames, grenade out, what's gonna happen? Well, it did drop down a bit, so if we're in a big firefight and a lot of things are exploding, which basically will happen, then it's not gonna be good anyway. So this car should actually explode every second now. So yeah, I would say auto settings full HD, kinda 30-ish frames experience, kinda console level, some PlayStation 3 level experience right here. Still playable, but well, not ideal. You kinda want to get at least close to 60 on this one. Oh damn. Well, it is what it is, so let's move on to Odyssey. So here we are, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or Ghost Recon Odyssey, depends on who you ask, because it's still the same Ubisoft title. So, let's take a look what we actually have. So, display Full HD, and vertical sync is off. Graphics wise we are very high, so adaptive quality is off, obviously, because we don't want for game to cheat for us. And everything is cranked as much as we can crank things here. And the game predicts we're going to be using 3.3 gigs of memory out of 6. I think let's put this to the test. And the moment of truth once again is upon us. Place your bets. We're doing science here. So the score to beat is 43.1 frame. Come on, Odyssey. I mean, come on, 1060. Come on. And the moment of truth, and we are hitting 50 frames. Oh my god, yes. So we definitely beaten that by, well, 7 frames. And to be honest, it's not really that bad if you look at the things. So yeah. I don't know. I think this is pretty legit result. Okay, let's go for something a bit more serious now. And the serious part would be Metro Exodus, so... I don't know what to expect, to be honest. 980 was kinda okayish with the Metro Exodus, so this card is kinda below 980, kinda... It's gonna be fun. Let's take a look. So here we are, Metro Exodus, so let's just jump straight in for video. So we're full HD, quality is extreme, vertical sync is off. Well, we are running on DirectX 11 because DirectX 12 is a bit of pain in the ass, to be honest. It kind of sometimes crashes and that's not what I want. Game is on the latest version, 1.0.1.7, kind of sounds like a pin code. Hairworks are on, advanced physics are on, well, tessellation is on, which probably gonna kill this card anyway. And everything else is, well, cranked as much as we can. And even now, the card is actually working 99% and at 4 gig capacity, so... Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Anyway, we're gonna continue exactly where we left off from my 980, 1080, 2080 Ti video. So, probably on a rooftop with my beautiful wife, who's gonna just nag my head off. So, let's just do this. Moment of truth.
When it has been years since anyone's heard anything but static and white noise on the radio, who could still believe we are not alone on this earth? My wife, my comrades from the Order, my friends, people from my station. Nobody believes.
So here we are in a wilds of Russia, and we are actually getting exactly what they said. Wait, no, they said we're gonna get 35, we are getting above 35. Well, for a second there. 33, so... But it's jumping up and down. To be honest, again, I wouldn't play this game with 1060. Ow, oh, that was my wife who slapped me to... I don't know where. I definitely wouldn't be playing this game on extreme graphical setting with the 1060. Because there's a lot of things going on. Also, hairworks and tessellation is definitely not doing us any favors, since this is Nvidia card. And hairworks, well, who needs hairworks in Metro Exodus? I mean, that's just stupid.
Is this why the zone is off limits? I mean, if all the packs here are like
So the frame rate is kind of fluctuating, so it's kind of 38, 37, 40-ish. So we kind of need to beat 35, and to be honest, we are kind of around that with certain dips, but I mean, can't really be helped. So let's just help Anna to get up here, and we'll go from here. Wife, come over. Right here.
damn too high. Hey, Hasyam, help me get out there.
I mean, we could go around there, but fine. On you go, ladies first. I mean, the cutscenes has more frames than the actual gameplay. Riddle me this. If you can optimize a cutscene, you can optimize a game.
I got you.
Okay, so 37, 38. To be honest, I think we are kind of above 35 anyway. So occasional dips down. I think it's pretty fair to say that we are... All this stuff going around us, the blizzard... Oh, that was even 44 here. If you look away from the things. So I would say 35 is a bit selling short. However, there's not really no gunfire, no explosions going on. So I would say 37 seems like a good compromise. So instead of 35, we've beaten it with 37. And I think that's pretty decent. Now it's time to actually start the true benchmark, which would be the control and that is gonna be a fun one. So let's take a look. So here we are with control, and we just need to go through the settings together. It's a very exciting journey. So we are at 1080p, render resolution is exactly the same, vertical sync is off. High texture resolution, ultra, high, everything is cranked as much as we can. And well, even the global reflections. So that is not gonna be good anyway, but here we are. Also, why the hell am I getting 50 frames? This sounds like vertical sync is somewhere sneakily enabling itself. Quality preset is custom. I mean, if I put it on high, that I do believe will tick off some boxes, but I wonder. Quality preset high. I mean, that's the highest we can go anyway, so let's just leave it as it is. And we'll see. Anyway, for control we have 34.7 frames to beat, so if we're getting 50, I'm gonna be completely fine. And we should actually go with, I do believe, continue game. Or should we go with a new game? How you guys think? What would be a bit better option? You know what, let's go with new game. Let's take a look.
Warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual. Can't be helped. You called me. So here I am. There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world.
So far,
You
so
won't
good.
feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster.
Damn. The street is
And the
killing our
ones that
frames.
see it happen, freak out, and try to forget what they saw. I'm here. Why did you bring me here?
Aha. Anyway, despite the bad start, we are actually getting 43, 42 frames. I do believe it's gonna drop down the moment we start moving due to all these goddamn reflections. And the I'm sorry, the COVID got me again. God damn it. The weird thing I noticed is we are actually using only 2.8 gigabytes of video memory, which is very interesting. I mean, for all the textures and assets to be loaded in, it's almost like this game doesn't have it. Well, it is a very contained game, well, so to say, in terms of your play area, unless you go for very open spaces, which there's not really much in this game. So let's just go. So we need to be 34.7 and we are absolutely cranked out. And I don't like BP things, so we're gonna skip them. So let's go for this corridor. 41 frames, 42. I would say this is a win. We are clearly above 34.7 pretty much constantly. Let's go and have a chat with our
Federal
friend janitor.
Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them and they were hiding in plain
Absolutely.
sight.
Control on high settings, and imagine the frames you would get if you would actually turn down some settings. I would say absolutely 60. Oh, 37 because of... I wonder what happened here. There's nothing really obvious going on. You saw the janitor. Look at this. The janitor gives us 35 frames. He's the benchmark.
Hey, excuse me.
Yep, he's the benchmark. Look at this. The frames are going down because there's a janitor.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, the janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, neither you can Helvet. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, jumalauta.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
And the moment we are away from the janitor, we're back to 40s. And is it just me or this game looks very goddamn bright? That's a moving pictures, give that Harry Potter feel. Anyway, time for the elevator ride and see how will that impact our frames.
The
Press
cell
F to pay respects to the
and
frame
the
rate.
poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help?
We're literally getting 240 frames here. I don't know. They've been wrong a lot. Anyway, let's skip this. Get the real game going. Basically walk the corridor and see before we enter the office, and we need to do the tutorial.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan.
37, 38.
17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
Okay, so we are 37, but to be honest, we are still beating our original requirement, which is 34.7. So even 37 is still a win. And we've been getting close to 40 on a previous level, so this is a bit more reflections, a bit more objects here. And once we get our powers, so we can actually, you know, kill everything, then obviously it's going to be much more fun. And probably the frames will drop more, but 38 I can take, so let's just be honest here. We're making science. So 38 frames, pretty decent score. And more than 34.7. Not by much, but hey, it's honest work. So let's move on the final contender, which is killing everything out there, and it's the Cyberpunk. Latest patch, and well, let's take a look. So here we are, Cyberpunk. Latest version 1.23, all the hot patches and fixes that, to be fair, didn't fix anything, but hey, we got them. We have it. So, resolution full HD, vertical sync is off, graphics, quick presets, texture quality high and high. Ooh, sorry, I forgot this game actually has an ultra setting. So, well, at least I don't have to restart the game for it, so that's good. Now, everything is absolutely cranked out, and you're gonna leave ray tracing off, obviously. Oh well. Oh well. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna continue, so we're gonna end up God knows where, and that's part of the fun. So, let's take a look and hope for the best.
Say, did y'all lose power yesterday too? Yeah, when the lights went out, there I was cooking dinner. Oh, well, if we're getting specific, I was nuking a half-eaten burrito I found wedged in my couch cushions. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have. After all, I heard microwaves zap out all the nutrients. But hey, it kills the cockroaches too, so, you know, you win some, you lose some. Anyway, what was I? Right.
So frames to beat 25.1. I think that's gonna be very tall order, because we are literally on the edge of the 25. All these lights, all these reflections are killing it, and this was exactly the same with the 980 Ti. To be honest, it was literally sub 30. So to be fair, getting the same frame rates as the 980 Ti with 1060, I would say it's actually pretty good for the card. Let's go out on a street, look around. This is just terrible. However, this game, let's face it, you need a very monstrous setup for this game. 2080 Ti with the DLSS on was actually giving close to 60 and above. Enabling ray tracing and HDR killed everything, even for that type of GPU. You can actually take a look at all the lineups on my previous video, which is 980, 1080 Ti and 2080 Ti running rather similar games on 4040p, everything cranked. So 24 frames for 1060 on full HD, I'm not seeing an issue. So we are pulling 5 gigs of memory, GPU is almost 100% working, which is very good sight to see. Nice and cool at 56 degrees, to be honest, and this is one of the benefits of the STRIX. And we're pulling 7 gigs of RAM. I would say, you know what, it's not really bad at all. Is it playable? Hell no. I cannot say that this is playable. Well, I mean, technically you can still play it, but please do yourself a favor and don't play this game on ultra settings. I would say medium would be kinda its ballpark, give or take, because again, we are pulling 4.7 gigs of video memory, so it's not even about memory issue at this point, it's just the speed of the GPU and the game itself. So yeah, to be fair, Ultra is a bit of an overkill. However, we are pretty much exactly where the game debates said we're gonna be, so they were getting 25.1, we are getting a bit more at some places when there's nothing going around, so we are kind of 25-ish, 22. So yeah, I can't really say, you know, that this is the way of playing the game. Absolutely not, but again, whoever would have 1060 at this point and would want to play Cyberpunk, you would try to play it on a playable frame rate, so you would adjust some settings. You wouldn't crank everything and say this is the life, this is how it should be. So 25 frames it is. I'm kind of torn apart. I kind of would like to actually give this game 22 just for consistency's sake, but for some, at some degree it kind of gives us 25. So I think instead of 25.1 we're gonna give it 25 and just leave it at that. So let's recap. So in terms, when I said recap, I kind of meant looking at this notepad here and, you know, just giving it a thought. So what we found out that not all the benchmarks you can find on web is actually true. It highly depends on what kind of, well, rig you're running, what kind of CPU you have, where the game is loading from. All that good stuff. Is your GPU stock or is it factory overclock? Did you overclock it yourself? Are you running the latest driver? Is the game running the latest update? All those things kind of contribute to the end factor. And to be completely honest with you, if we're looking at these games and we were cranking the settings out of the water, right? I would say we would get 60 frames on at least most of these titles with just lowering the settings a bit or adjusting some certain settings like shadows and reflections, for instance. And it would be still a good GPU to play games on, because I've been playing games and testing games with my 980, which is 4 gig, and as much as it's faster, you are hitting the memory limitation of the GPU itself, and then things get really bad. Since you have 1060 with 6 gigs, lower some settings and you'll be fine. Also, a big disclaimer, none of this is overclocked. My CPU is stock, the card is stock, apart from NVIDIA control panel being adjusted for maximum performance, obviously, because that's the only way we can get it. So let's run the MSI real quick, take a look what our card is doing. So I don't know, it's running pretty nice. Even so, since it's on maximum performance, it's kind of trying to always keep itself under load, and even then it's like 49-50 degrees, so it's not even that hot. And again, no overclocks, nothing's done with it. So I would say, actually, in terms of the card itself, it's pretty solid. And if you have this card or you're thinking about getting this card, since there's no chance of getting any other card out there, it might actually be worth it, because you can still play it. You can still play these games, and these are the games that were getting the lowest frames on full HD rather versus the games that were getting the best ones, like, you know, the Apex Legends and things like that. So even with this, I must say the reality versus the benchmarks kinda hits close, but again, it's common sense. You don't see playable frame rate, you adjust some settings, and that's always been the case. And 1060 is a bit older card now. I do believe it was launched in 2016. We're in 2021, GPU source shortage around the world. So yeah, if you want to update or upgrade, or both, upgrade and update, I would say hold your fire, wait until something better comes along, and for semi-decent price. Going from 1060 to 1080, I would say it's not really... It's kind of pointless. You're still stuck on the 10 series, to be fair. Performance-wise, yes, you will have better frames in most of these games, apart from Cyberpunk. And on Full HD, yes. I mean, 1080 is not exactly Full HD gaming card. It's kind of 4040p gaming, and again, really depends on your current setup. The point of this video, and big shout out to my friend who actually gave me this card. The point of this video is to, again, the same as my channels. Older hardware can still do it. It's still relevant. So you don't need to just throw it out in a bin and say, that's it, I'm selling my kidney for $30.90. I mean, if you can, go ahead. I mean, there's literally no local buyers in my area. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. Put your comments, some ideas, what you think, what is in your rig right now, and I don't know, I'll try to see what I can do for you. So thanks for watching, see you guys next time.